The way we communicate is not merely about conveying information, it is a window that reflects our thoughts, emotions, and even our subconscious beliefs. Every word we choose, the tone we use, and the rhythm of our speech can reveal deep aspects of ourselves that we may not have realized. It can highlight hidden elements within us that we have never considered. A person's way of speaking, whether it is easy to follow or scattered, is influenced by various factors such as environment, family, culture, and even brain development. For example, psychological studies have shown that the use of filler words like or like may indicate anxiety or a lack of confidence, while speaking with pauses and controlled pacing conveys confidence and authority. The shift in tone, from how we use language in our everyday conversations to how we communicate in formal settings, is the result of social conditioning and training over time. Therefore, language is not just a communication tool, it is a fingerprint of our experiences and moods, and even subconscious beliefs that we might not be aware of. To understand this, we need to pay attention not only to what we say but also to how we say it. The story that our words tell can either be a story of confidence or a story of anxiety and insecurity. When we realize this and take control of our language, we can change our perception of ourselves, improve our communication, and enhance the way we connect with those around us. The way we speak not only reflects our thoughts but also reveals many aspects of our personality and psychology. Language is not just a tool for communication but also a mark of past experiences and subconscious beliefs that we may not recognize. For example, people who frequently use personal pronouns like I or me tend to be more introspective and self-aware. In contrast, those who use collective pronouns like we or us often show stronger social connections and empathy toward others. Our choice of words can also reveal our level of confidence. Individuals who use assertive and decisive language often display self-assurance and leadership qualities, while those who speak with hesitation or uncertainty may reflect insecurity or anxiety. Even the act of changing the way we speak depending on the person we are talking to is an example of code switching, where we adjust our language to fit the context and audience, thus helping us connect more effectively with others. While adapting our language is an important social skill, the key is to recognize that our speech not only reflects external factors but is also a deep reflection of ourselves. If we fail to recognize the influence of language in our daily lives, we may be allowing it to control our thoughts and actions without fully realizing it. Therefore, understanding how language shapes and alters behavior can be the key to improving communication and helping us grow as individuals. The way we communicate is not just about transmitting information, it also reflects a great deal about who we are. Our language and speaking styles are shaped by deep factors like family background, social context, and culture. If you grew up in an environment where language was rich and emotional expression was encouraged, your communication skills would likely have developed strongly. In contrast, if you were in a setting where emotional expression was discouraged and silence was preferred, you may have adopted speech patterns that reflect hesitation or lack of confidence. This shows that language is not just a tool, but an integral part of our identity. Moreover, culture greatly influences the way we communicate. For instance, in Western cultures, people are often encouraged to express their personal views and assertiveness in communication. In contrast, Eastern cultures tend to emphasize indirect communication, where silence can hold as much value as words. However, one important point to note is that the language we use does not just reflect how we interact with the world, it also reveals aspects of ourselves that may remain unexplored, parts of ourselves that we may not fully recognize. Language can be a powerful tool to help us identify who we are and aid in our personal growth. The way we speak and the words we choose reflect an important part of our personality and self-awareness. People who frequently use personal pronouns like I and me tend to be more self-aware and reflective about their identity. On the other hand, individuals who prefer collective pronouns like we or us often show stronger social connections and empathy. This indicates that language is not just a tool for communication but also a bridge to self-identification within the social context. Additionally, our language changes depending on the person we are speaking to. When talking to close friends, we often use informal language, filled with slang and casual expressions. However, when communicating in a professional setting, our language becomes more formal and structured. This shows that language is not only a reflection of the self but also an adaptation to different social circumstances and expectations. Furthermore, language has a powerful influence on how we perceive ourselves. People who frequently use positive and affirming language build a more positive self-perception, while those who often use negative language, like, "I can't do this," or "I'm not good at this," inadvertently reinforce a negative self-image. In conclusion, language plays a crucial role not only in communication but also in shaping and maintaining our self-image in society. Language is not just a tool for communication, it is also how we form our self-perception and view of the world around us. Every word we use reflects an aspect of our inner nature, whether it is confidence or uncertainty. Research in psycholinguistics has shown that people who use more personal pronouns like I and me tend to be more introspective and emotionally deep. This not only helps them have a clearer understanding of themselves but also allows them to define their place in society. On the other hand, those who use collective terms like we or us emphasize their connection to the community, feeling a sense of belonging to a group and displaying solidarity and empathy. Another key element in language is how we express self-confidence through our speech. For example, people who speak with a steady rhythm, slowly and with decisiveness, tend to make a strong impression and are often perceived as confident and trustworthy. On the other hand, using filler words like ah, or repeating questions can create a sense of uncertainty and make others feel like you lack confidence. Communication experts also point out that it is not only the words we use but also the tone and rhythm in our speech that strongly impact how others perceive and evaluate us. Language and communication are the keys to building strong relationships with others, as well as developing oneself and asserting personal value. Language and how we communicate can reveal a lot about an individual, including personality, emotions, and the level of self-awareness. For example, people who use positive and strong language tend to be more confident in social situations. They speak with assertiveness, using clear and powerful words, which not only helps them communicate effectively but also creates an image of someone with leadership potential. On the other hand, those who use weak language tend to soften their words, or repeatedly hesitate, might be perceived as lacking confidence or decisiveness. Another crucial factor in communication is how we adjust our language depending on the context and the person we're speaking to. When talking to close friends, we often use natural, informal language without focusing too much on grammar or structure. However, when communicating in a work environment or with people we don't know well, our language becomes more formal, with precise words and clear structure. This reflects our ability to adapt to the environment and indicates our social flexibility. Additionally, it's important to note that language is not just a tool for conveying information but also a means through which we express emotions and personal viewpoints. Through language, we not only recount events but also express our feelings, attitudes, and perceptions of those events. Therefore, when we speak, we are conveying a part of ourselves and telling our own story. Language holds incredible power in creating connections and reflecting deep aspects of our inner selves. The way we use language can reveal a lot about our emotional state, confidence level, and even social factors we may not be fully aware of. An important factor in communication is how we use positive or negative words. People who use optimistic language, speak with assertiveness, and choose words that are constructive often tend to be more confident and have a greater ability to influence society. In contrast, if someone frequently uses negative language, speaks hesitantly, or lacks decisiveness, they may be perceived as unreliable or lacking capability. Furthermore, the way we adjust our language based on the person we're communicating with is crucial. When speaking with friends, you may use relaxed, casual language and mix in colloquialisms. But when communicating with superiors or business partners, the language becomes more formal and structured. This not only reflects your understanding of the context but also shows your ability to adapt and self-regulate in different situations. Lastly, the most important thing to recognize is that language not only reflects who you are but can also create changes in how you perceive and feel about yourself. When you change the way you speak and choose positive words, you can improve social relationships and even boost your confidence and inner strength. Language is an essential element in forming and maintaining relationships. The way we communicate and use words can profoundly influence how others perceive us and create connections. In social situations, using language flexibly and choosing the right words will help you easily integrate and build trust. When you speak, adjusting your tone, pace, and even word choice can completely change how your message is received and understood. People who can adjust their language appropriately based on the context are highly regarded in conversations because it shows emotional intelligence and adaptability. Moreover, using positive language, choosing energetic and encouraging words will help boost self-esteem and foster a sense of security in communication. A person who speaks confidently, with inspiring words, will easily make a strong impression, build trust, and create a sense of empathy. This not only benefits social life but also contributes to their career and personal growth. Additionally, people who use critical, negative, or insecure language can easily be misunderstood or not respected by others. Choosing provocative, critical, or unsubstantiated words can cause relationships to fracture. In contrast, knowing how to listen and use constructive words will open the door to effective communication, building strong relationships and enhancing self-confidence within oneself. Language is not just a communication tool, it is a powerful instrument that can shape how others perceive us. The words we choose, how we phrase our thoughts, and even the tone of our voice can clearly reflect our personality, confidence, and the level of connection we share with others. This is not only important in personal communication but also in professional settings. Those who can communicate clearly and assertively are often highly regarded and can leave a deeper impression on others. However, what is fascinating is that language can also reflect aspects of ourselves that are not fully recognized. A person who tends to speak hesitantly, unsure, or uses vague terms may be indicating a lack of confidence or anxiety. In contrast, individuals who speak with assertiveness and choose their words carefully often demonstrate clarity of thought and determination. This also reflects a self-awareness and the ability to master situations in life. Being mindful of how we use language in communication can help us control and adjust our behavior, creating strong and influential connections. Additionally, using positive language can reduce stress, increase empathy, and encourage collaboration. People who communicate in a gentle, skillful, and confident manner not only build relationships easily but also achieve significant success in both their careers and personal lives. Language is not just a tool for conveying information, it is a powerful factor that helps us express ourselves and build our image in the eyes of others. The way you speak can clearly reflect your mood, level of confidence, and your attitude toward life. For example, if you speak with certainty and clarity, others will perceive you as confident and decisive. On the other hand, if you frequently use hesitant or unclear language or avoid confronting issues, it may make you seem indecisive or lacking confidence. The way we communicate can also reveal a lot about thoughts and emotions we may not even be aware of. For instance, the language you use can reflect your mood and empathy towards others. If you frequently use positive and encouraging words, you will express optimism and positive energy, which can create a space for meaningful connection in conversations. However, if you often use negative language, lack confidence, or tend to blame others, you may unintentionally create barriers in communication and distance yourself from others. Moreover, the way you speak can influence how others perceive you. Someone who can speak clearly, articulately, and confidently is more likely to command respect and influence. By paying attention to tone, word choice, and the way you express yourself, you can make a lasting impression in conversations, which can open doors for connections and success in both work and life. Language is not just a tool for conveying information, it is also a means of self-expression and reflects deeply held personal values. The way you communicate can reveal a lot about you, including your emotions, confidence, and even unconscious factors you may not be aware of. For instance, individuals who frequently use personal pronouns like I tend to be introspective and self-aware, whereas those who use more collective terms like we or you often exhibit stronger social connections and empathy. Another important aspect of communication is the tone and how you convey your message. The emphasis you place on certain words and how you pause during your speech can make a big difference in how others perceive your message. People who speak slowly and with a clear rhythm are often seen as confident and authoritative, while those who speak rapidly and impatiently may give the impression of lacking decisiveness and control. Moreover, language usage can significantly affect how you perceive yourself. Language has a powerful impact on how you think about yourself. When you shift the way you speak to yourself, from negative statements like, "I can't do this," to positive affirmations like, "I can learn and grow," you will feel more confident and empowered in your actions. Language is a critical element in forming and expressing personal identity. Each individual carries unique communication styles that reflect factors like confidence, emotions, and even subconscious nuances that we may not be aware of. The way we use words, including the pace and tone of our speech, can reveal a great deal about us. People who tend to use more personal pronouns like I or me often exhibit a higher level of self-awareness and self-reflection. In contrast, individuals who use collective terms like we or you often express a strong connection to their community and social groups. One key aspect of communication is the tone and rhythm of speech. The tone of voice can change the way people perceive your message. For example, a sentence can take on a completely different meaning when spoken with a warm, reassuring tone as opposed to a cold or irritated one. This not only affects how others interpret the message but also reflects the emotional state of the speaker. Language is not just words, it is a bridge to the soul. Additionally, altering how we communicate can help change how we feel about ourselves. By using positive, confident language, you not only affect how others perceive you, but you also strengthen your belief in yourself. Shifting from negative expressions to empowering statements can help you grow and rise. An important lesson from how we communicate is that language is not just a tool for transmitting information but a deep reflection of ourselves and the values we carry. The way we use words, our speaking style, and the rhythm of our voice can reveal much about our thoughts, emotions, and subconscious beliefs. Paying attention to how we communicate, from using positive language to adjusting our tone and pace, can help us build confidence, improve relationships, and create stronger connections with others. The key is to realize that every word we speak not only impacts the listener but also influences our own self-image. When we change the way we communicate, especially through positive language, we not only affect others but also build a stronger, more confident version of ourselves.